A very good afternoon to you, fellow cruise aficionados, and welcome to our review of the Mayan Soul cruise on board of Scarlet Lady. One of the first Virgin voyages in the Caribbean, and our first cruise after the flu season of 2020. So we were super excited to get back to cruising. Well, turned out to be more interesting than we anticipated, so since this is not an endorsed, monetized, or sponsored video, we will tell you everything we loved and some things that we occasionally really hated about this cruise. First things first, let's check this ship out. We'll start from the top deck and work our way down. As many have said, the pool situation here is a bit subpar, but it seemed to work out well enough for us with plenty of loungers and room in the pool. 50% capacity certainly helped. One of many oddities is focus on fitness. Even though one of us is a bona fide gym rat, cruising and fitness do not go together for us. To each his own, but we didn't see that all these outdoor workout areas were really used all that much. This infamous catamaran net at the very back of the ship is one of many Instagrammable spots. Neat. Super uncomfortable, by the way. And then there's the boxing ring. And punching bags. Huh. A dedicated jogging track? Cool, as you don't have to dodge loungers, and views from here are very much awesome. Of course, there is a basketball court, which seems to be a staple on cruise ships these days, for whatever reason. There is a private area called Richard's Rooftop for those of us who managed to stay in the Rockstar staterooms. And now let's see what we got downstairs. Trying to break as many cruising concepts as they can, Virgin did away with the typical atrium and replaced it with a two-deck staircase. They call it a roundabout. Roundabouts are not something that Americans dig, so to be honest, this thing looked and felt pretty underwhelming to us. While the overall decor was simple and contemporary, we couldn't help but find it overly simplistic at times. As stated, there are plenty of purpose-built Instagrammable spots throughout the ship, and of course we had to make use out of each and every last one of them. At any rate, the ship overall worked out reasonably well, yet we can't say that we found a spot we particularly loved to hang out at. Unlike, say, 270 Lounge on the Anthem of the Seas or Eden on the Celebrity Edge. Links to reviews of those cruises are in the description below. Now, let's retrace our steps and see how we got here. Embarkation is typically a non-event that lasts from 15 minutes to maybe an hour tops in the worst case. Well, not with Virgin. They turned half-capacity embarkation into a complete circus, to put it very mildly. A disorganized, glitchy process married to a brilliant idea of in-terminal COVID testing. After filling out yet another set of paperwork online and getting your brain tickled, we had to wait for over an hour in a setting of an abandoned rural railroad station. Start to finish, 3.5 hours. Once on board though, we managed to fall into cruise mode pretty quickly, and since our departure was slightly delayed by all the embarkation circus, we got a bonus. Sail away at dusk with lovely Miami lights in the background. Revamped, or maybe even new Norwegian and Royal terminals in Port of Miami looked awesome at night. We might have to check those out soon. After this beautiful sail away, it's time to check out our stateroom. We settled on the XL balcony cabin, which offered slightly more elbow room. As pedestrian as it may sound, bathroom experience here is a big deal, because the XL rooms, with them you get way more vanity room as well as separate toilet and shower stalls. All things considered, a very functional and comfortable layout for two travelers. The rest of the room is rather typical, maybe a bit short on storage and has no drawers whatsoever, plenty of chargers, an American and 2 USB-A outlet on each side of the bed, a few chargers next to the tablet. That tablet controls TV, lights and curtains, but we never get a chance to really use it, because who watches TV on the cruise? There is a fridge, and the water that gets replenished all the time. The only disappointment with the room was the balcony, which lacked signature red hammock. Since it was so close to the front of the ship, and in this location hammocks somehow are deemed unsafe. No? Alrighty then. Well, enough whining, and let's move on to one of the best experiences that we had as far as dining at sea goes. Starting with the galley, a food court concept that replaced the standard buffet. Good diversity, and for the most part, decent choices. Overall, we were very much impressed with all the restaurants, maybe with a small exception of Extra Virgin, but then again we were being too picky. The steakhouse was very solid, even for us Texans. Filet was perfectly grilled and presented. Pink Agave is a very nice high-end Mexican restaurant with great diversity and very personable service. Test Kitchen is a very unusual concept where the food is prepared in a sort of a lab environment. Food and cocktails they have are very much new age, experimental, creative. And for us, that experience clicked big time. Just imagine a slow-smoked egg that is prepared for several hours. Steak and venison was perfect, and the presentation, well, do I need to even say anything? Even the dessert, which we typically skip, was super yummy at this place. Razzle Dazzle, the final venue we checked out, exceeded our expectations as well. It is mainly vegetarian, and we decided to stick with the program and tried mushroom tartare and the Impossible Burger. Both were fantastic, and frankly, the Impossible Burger turned out to be almost as good as the real thing. I'll stick with the beef for now, of course, but this is getting pretty scary. Onwards to bars. Overall drinks were great, equal or better than what we experienced on other cruises. Virgin did not have a drink package, yet offered a decent discount if you prepay. Their cocktails are somewhat reasonably priced, what you would pay at a nice brunch avenue in Dallas, maybe on average from $9 to $11. You can get, of course, higher and lower depending on how creative you get. Let's shift over to the entertainment. Another area where we would say it's a mixed bag of reactions. Loved the show we had on the embarkation day. Very unusual, as expected with Virgin, fairly far from your typical theatrical performance. But this particular one really impressed us. A lot of engagement from the crowd, the crew was phenomenal, and we loved how they kind of veered from your typical athletic performance to a little more diversity. Excellent job, very enjoyable. The dual reality show is an acrobatic experience in the main theater. Frankly, it was not for us, and I think a lot of guests shared that sentiment. Great acrobatics, don't get me wrong, I really appreciate that part of it, but the theatrical part, as far as vocals and the overall flow of the experience, I don't know if we really got that. There were regular performances on the top deck when the weather was nice, around the pool, and a few of them worked out super nicely. Odyssey show in particular was very neat. Again, a very diverse and awesome group, a lot of energy and fun dancing to songs from all the decades. And the crowd seemed to enjoy themselves as well. On the flip side, the Never Sleep Alone show was either toned down for the American crowd or just simply not fully baked. It was hyped up a lot, there was a waiting list and everything else, yet it felt flat. Not just our impression, by the way. Everyone we talked to, including a lot of very open-minded guests, didn't quite appreciate the whole thing, as it was expected to be a lot more fun and funny. We were hoping for it to be somewhat inappropriate in places, and yet, at the end, it delivered a PG-13 level of senior-safe entertainment. Back to the positive side, of course, those little pop-up shows were really cool. Every now and then, a group of actors would pop up and do a little scene, and that was really enjoyable and most of the time unexpected. A few other things that we loved were random messages that you write on a love letter or a note to your fellow cruiser that you met on board and send that note into the universe. Just really little, beautiful, unusual experience. More pop-up shows all around during the Scarlet Night were lovely. Not sure if I got all of them, but then again, this is the point. Whether you see a Chinese New Year celebration in October or a whole bunch of Irish songs in the middle of Caribbean, all of that somehow clicks. Time to switch the flip again though. The party life was very confusing. We love to party and typically enjoy nightlife on all the cruises we've been prior to. And there was a good crowd here on board to get the nightlife going, yet DJs somehow managed to get us off the dance floor and to bed around 10 p.m. every night, whether we wanted to do that or not. Oh well. And we saved the best complaint for last. And it is entertainment in a way, the Virgin Voyages app. Not sure how it got 1.8 rating out of 5, somebody was really generous there. For the ship where everything from entertainment to dinners is bookable only through the app, this thing failed us every time we used it. Not sure how you spend 700 mil to build a ship and skip 5 to 10 mil it would take to put together a clean, seamless app. And that's enough with complaints. We did have a couple of ports of call, and the one that we really loved was Bimini Island in the Bahamas. Very neat experience in its own, probably one of the better cruise getaways we had on a private beach. Several pools, really nice lounging areas, plenty of space to spread out and enjoy the beautiful beach. This area is fairly new, and you can see that everything was just working out nicely. From hammocks in the shadow of beautiful sail-looking thingies and palm trees, to dining experience, to everything else. Dining, by the way, was top-notch. Not your typical burgers and hot dogs one might expect from the cruise beach setting. Lovely tapas, plenty of really good food, very nicely served. And the overall beach area, views, and experience was just about perfect. So on this positive note, we are thanking the Caribbean again for the warm hospitality and so much needed break. We can't wait for the world to get back to normal and enjoy these small pleasures in life. Cheers, and keep on cruising.